Kani Group to address the audience.
Good evening, everybody. Inviting IT industry to any state is a blessing and a curse. Blessing because it creates new jobs, reasonably well-paid jobs. For every one IT job, you add another 3 non-IT jobs. So these are all the good side of it. But it can create a mess to your city completely, whether it is Bangalore, whether it is Chennai, whether it's Pune, whether it's Hyderabad, whether it is Gurgaon or Noida. I think the IT industry has messed up pretty much every city because the city was not ready with the infrastructure which is required to support an IT industry. Bangalore currently creates 100,000 jobs. It does 1.2 crore square feet of office building every year, and it's just going on increasing because once the momentum is set, this industry doesn't stop. Whether the government supports or not, after 15-20 years, 100,000 jobs will just keep coming. So this is something which the state needs to be mentally prepared for if it wants to think for the next 20-25 years. That once you start on this journey, it's going to be very difficult for you to stop it. So unless and until you are mentally prepared to build infrastructure on its own for such a industry, you will see that you will come short. For example, in Bangalore currently, for 1 acre of office building, they add about 1,400 employees per acre. So that's the density which they are building high rises and doing 1,400 employees per acre. So if you are having a 25 acre or a 50 acre physical commercial area, you're talking of 70,000, 7,000 people who will be over there, or 70,000 people. So that's the sort of planning which is required. For every 10 people, you have 2 vehicles, so you are talking of roughly about 280 vehicles per acre, and then you have to think through how will these vehicles come in, go out, and things like that. That's why what Mr. Naidu suggested, that we need to have integrated development where walk to work or a public bus could be taken to reach the workplace of an area. So this is what what IT industry can do to you, and knowing India's growth and how India is going to grow over the next 20-25 years, I am sure that Bihar in 20-25 years will need 1 crore square feet of commercial space every year, and that's the planning. If you guys are able to think through today, you will at least avoid some of the problems of Bangalore. You may have newer problems, but at least the older problems, known problems, you will avoid. So that's the robustness of planning which is required to put this industry in place. In terms of electricity and all, these are all given things. They need 2 sources of power, each independent of each other, so that if there's a breakdown from one source of power, you get from the second source of power. So those things are all doable, but keep in mind that infrastructure planning, while it looks simple, it is not as simple when the momentum starts. The first 200 acres, great, you will do everything fine. The problem is when 2,000 acres will start getting used. And that's when you will realize that you have totally lost control of your city. It's all sorts of services which need to be thought through. And that's the only suggestion I can give as you go forward in making an integrated. You will have to involve the private sector in this entire development, because without that, it won't work. Bangalore didn't do any much on the government side, buying the first one, that too, they didn't build it. But once the private sector takes on, your industry will go very fast in this area. Because most of Bangalore, if people credit Infosys and Wipro, they equally credit the developers of Bangalore who made this space available and are still making space available for them. What companies, when they decide to put to a location, what they look at is ease for transport of employees, they look at power stability, they look at ability to grow in a place. They will start with 50 jobs, in the second year they will move to 300 jobs, in the third year they will move to 1,000 jobs, and in the fourth or the fifth year they will move to 3,000 jobs. So ability to grow in an area is equally important for them to select you as a destination. So these are the thought processes which you'll have to put in place as you build and plan your infrastructure build out, even in that 200 acre plot. That this is a 10 to 12 year exercise, and it is not an exercise where you will put up a building and everybody will show up. Today the cost of construction across India is the same. In fact, Bangalore is the cheapest cost of construction because their volumes are huge. They have plates of 100,000 square feet per floor plates also. So they are able to put in 1,000 employees a floor and things like that. So that's the thought processes with Bangalore has developed. So you will have to realize that you not only competitive on terms of real estate prices is not your advantage. Your advantage will be how do I make sure that the companies who put in people here are able to implement their work with ease, go in, go out, and that's very critical. And so with that, I will give it to the next speaker and see, and if you have any questions for later on, I'm happy to take them. Yeah, water. Yeah. Yeah, definitely water resources, transportation, electricity, connectivity, childcare, emergency services, business infrastructure, all the commercial and social infrastructure. This all comes in your planning, and we are happy to share every details of it with the Bihar departments so that they can, and happy to help them as to what we think will be necessary to do that. Thank you.